All right. We got some shit to unbox. So I have a tendency to just kind of order stuff and think about making videos on it, but just never end up doing anything with them. So it's about damn time I finally get around to unboxing some of the shit that I've accumulated over the past year. So let's take a look at some of this stuff, starting with the mysterious brown box. Now this brown box was sent over from our friend Ben over at Retro Handhelds. And I actually paid for one thing that's inside of here, but I paid him a little extra and said, I don't know, throw a sticker in there or something, or just keep the change. It sounds like he threw something loose. Okay, I don't really have a pair of scissors. Let's raw dog this thing. What is this? What is this, man? So it seems like we've been sent over a Windows 10 logo filled with blocks of cheese. I don't really know what I'm supposed to do with this, but I appreciate it nonetheless. And there's more. Oh no. No, Ben! The Powkiddy V90. And it's filled with more stickers. I think he sent me every sticker he had. And the thing that I actually ordered here is the Backbone mobile controller. This is what I was expecting. I was not expecting to get a Powkiddy V90 or the Windows 10 logo with cheese in it. But honestly, in comparison, the Backbone feels like a consolation prize compared to some of this shit. I don't know if you guys can hear that, but oh. Now, interestingly enough, Powkiddy used to be known for making handheld consoles, but now they make pickleball rackets. So they've kind of taken a lateral move at best and, you know, are really just capitalizing on the pickleball market. Needless to say, the V90 was kind of one of their crowning achievements for better or worse. Yep, 2019. Right here. How do I change the fucking brightness? No, I don't. No. Now, if I remember correctly, Retro Handhelds would send over a Powkiddy V90 handheld to anybody in their server who had a child while they were a member. This was like olden days RH stuff. I don't know if Ban's implying that I am having a child that I'm not aware of, or if he's just trying to pawn off his V90. But either way, I appreciate having this piece of junk. The speakers sound awful. Honestly, a pretty decent screen though, all things considered. Just Dino Crisis 2, all right, sure. Some audio crackling off the rip. What is happening? This thing's a piece of shit. Thank you, Ben, for sending me that. And all of these really cool stickers too. I actually really like these. The Backbone controller has always been an interesting piece of tech. It's one of these telescopic controllers for mobile gaming. You put your phone in there and, you know, it can adjust to maybe small tablets too. But the problem is there are much more affordable options than the Backbone, such as the controller that I've been using mostly, the Gamesir X5 Lite. This thing is actually pretty fantastic. It stretches further than the Backbone. But on the Backbone controller here, we actually get micro switch face buttons and a membrane style D-pad, analog triggers up top, USB-C pass-through with a 3.5mm headphone jack at the bottom. So this actually has all of the fixins you can ask for. I'm just kind of getting into telescopic controllers recently because everything is just getting so expensive. Standalone devices like the Retroid Pocket 6, the AYN Thor, higher end handhelds have been getting a little too expensive for most people. So I've been more interested in telescopic controllers paired with a used cell phone. We got a Motorola Moto Edge Plus 2022. So I picked this up on eBay for about $100. It has pretty fantastic specs for the price. This phone has a Snapdragon 8 Gen 1 chipset, which is about 30% less powerful than the Snapdragon 8 Gen 2, but it's almost twice as powerful as the Snapdragon 865 that we see in the Retroid Pocket 5 and the Gamesir Pocket Air Max. I don't know why they put Pocket in that name because that thing is enormous. We also have 8 gigabytes of RAM and 512 gigs of internal storage, which alone would cost $100 for a micro SD card of that capacity. Speaking of micro SD cards, we also don't have a micro SD card slot, so this is a fixed amount of storage under the hood. But for $100, we're basically getting a less powerful Retroid Pocket 6 without built-in controls. And Retroid Pocket 6 costs $250. So if you can find a controller for less than like $100, then in my opinion, you're living pretty good. So that's why I'm pairing it up with a used Backbone controller that I got off my boy Ban. And we're gonna put this to the test. These micro switch face buttons are pretty satisfying to play with, but the analog sticks just kind of feel a little cheap. The Gamesir kind of blows the Backbone out of the water. Pause. Oh yeah, this feels so much better. So the Gamesir has textured analog sticks, bigger face buttons, bigger grips too. It's just a more premium feeling little fella. The only downside is that we don't get analog triggers up top, but most of these mobile games aren't even designed for controllers. It's only if you're doing like local or cloud game streaming that you might want the analog input from the triggers, or if you're playing GameCube on here. But outside of those edge cases, this is a pretty excellent controller. Gamesir is really just blowing that Backbone out. The RG557 by Anbernic, courtesy of Lit NXT. This was definitely one of the handhelds of all time. It came out in 2025 at a pretty weird time and a pretty weird price. Now this handheld was designed to compete with the Retroid Pocket 5, a pretty legendary handheld that became extremely popular. A lot of people, including myself, actually still use it to this day, but the 557 didn't exactly get the same community response. It came in at a jaw-droppingly high price, and the processor under the hood is a Dimensity 8300. So we're not getting a Snapdragon chipset. So while you might have all of this raw horsepower under the hood, the actual gaming experience might be worse than something that is less powerful with a Snapdragon chip. So this was sent over from our friends over at Lit NXT. This was just one that I never got around to even opening up because honestly, I have no interest in the 557, which is bizarre because the RG556 is the handheld that got me into retro handhelds. It's basically the reason I started the channel. I was so fascinated with the RG556 that I wanted to play as many Nintendo Switch games on it as possible. Everyone was saying, oh, you can't really run too much Switch on it, pretty much at all. Don't expect any Switch games on the 556. I said, nay, I will put it to the gauntlet. And I tested out over 130 Switch games on here. About half of them worked, which is pretty impressive. Meanwhile, the RG557 here will run absolute laps around the 556, but when it came out at $250, I think, it didn't even really matter how good the handheld was. It was just too expensive. Now it seems like they also sent over one of their Sir Wish SD cards at 256 gig. That thing is worth a mortgage payment these days. Now this is supposed to be a transparent purple finish, but instead I'm getting more like a kind of smoky gray vibe from it. Am I crazy, or are these sticks absolutely tiny? What the hell? Why are they so small? Now there's nothing wrong with having a small analog stick, but goddamn, they fired the Shrinky Dink Ray on these analog sticks. Maybe I'm judging a book by its analog sticks, so they might actually be the best invention since sliced bread and fire. I don't know. We're getting the same PWM flickering as the 556 did. This flickering isn't visible to the naked eye, it's only something you see on camera, but there are some people who are very sensitive to PWM flickering. They might get headaches and that kind of thing. So usually that's a sign of cheaper OLED panels. When you dim them down, then you get more flickering. We got Link the Wide Way. This ain't the Wind Waker, this is the Wide Waker. This is looking pretty rough, fellas. Little pro tip, if you want to play a ROM of Wind Waker, check out the Better Wind Waker patcher. You get the native widescreen so it doesn't look all stretched, faster sailing, a bunch of other quality of life improvements too. What do we got here? Wii U. That's definitely Phineas and Ferb right there. That is for sure. You conspire against me? First he was big, now he's small, and that's why he's upset. I mean, this is very smooth, but we're also only running this at 2x resolution. 4x resolution is pushing it a little too far. Let's drop it down to 3x res. All right, we're frame dipping again. Now, the Anbernic RG557 is definitely a handheld that could have been better than it is. This was kind of the beginning of Anbernic's downfall in some ways. At the time they were releasing the RG35XX SP, a very popular handheld, the 34XX, that Game Boy Advance clone. They released 12 handhelds in 2024. A staggering amount of unique devices, but then they released the RG557 here. After that, they just kept releasing overpriced consoles that nobody really asked for. I don't think many people needed a 557 or the RG Slide. And don't even get me started on the RG Vita. That thing is a disgrace to any Vita lover out there. So what do I think of the Anbernic RG557? I think we got to send this thing to the Shadow Realm. The Gamesir Pocket Taco. This thing is a mobile controller designed for vertical phone gaming. I actually first saw this one at CES when it was unreleased, and they offered to send me one for a review. So I made a whole review video about it and ended up liking it so much that I ordered 2 of them from the Kickstarter, one in the original colorway and one in this atomic purple. That was a Kickstarter exclusive. So I ordered this double pack mostly for the atomic purple, but also because I kind of broke my original taco. So now I got 2 of them to replace the broken one. Let's check them out. So here we have the 2 colorways available from the Kickstarter. The original DMG colorway with the beige base and the purple buttons. And this one I'm really excited about. This is the atomic purple. Now, funny enough, the Gamesir Pocket Taco wasn't always named the Pocket Taco. It was actually named the Pocket One. But Gamesir ran a community vote over in China to decide a new name for this controller. And the people had voted on Pocket Taco. It's a very stupid and charming name for a very stupid and charming controller. So let's take a look at these little fellas here. Off rip, we have the Gamesir mascot there, that little chicken, because the official name of Gamesir is actually Guangzhou Chicken Run Network Technology Co. Guys, I think they added this because of my video. The opening angle is limited. Please do not apply further force when it reaches maximum position to avoid damaging the limit stop. Let's measure just how far we can stretch this thing. I think I broke it. It's exactly what I did on my controller. But I'm glad they added a sticker to tell people that it's not intended to go beyond that point. But let's check out this Kickstarter exclusive atomic purple colorway. Oh, I wish I got like 5 of these. They're so good looking. This might be one of the coolest looking mobile controllers I've ever held. Here's what they look like side by side, and honestly, the camera doesn't even do it justice. It looks so nice and translucent. So this little thing here is a Bluetooth controller designed for vertical phone gaming. You can see it has a little taco clamping mechanism to smack your phone right between this little clamp here. And what's pretty cool about this is that it automatically turns on when you pop it open. So if you have it connected to your phone, when you open it, it'll automatically turn on and connect to your phone. Then when you close it, it'll turn itself off. It retails for about $35 with free shipping, but you can actually get it on AliExpress for like $25 from some other sellers. Definitely check there first before going straight to Mr. Gamesir. After you first get it paired to your phone, then connecting it again is pretty simple. All you gotta do is pop it open, it'll automatically turn on, and then just drop your phone into that taco. Wonky ass Mario graphics. This is such a fever dream of a game. Let's see what's going on here. Brother. Mamma mia. This game is so easy. Now, despite losing in an easy game for babies, I still really love this Gamesir Pocket Taco, especially in the atomic purple here. This is one of the best colorways I've seen on any controller. I really enjoy this. But either way, for $35, the Gamesir Pocket Taco is an excellent option for some fun on-the-go retro gaming. Now, I've been a highly unskilled gamer for many years now, colloquially called dog shit, but I think I figured out what the problem is. I just didn't have the right controllers. So I hear everybody talking about, oh, maybe get a Gamesir controller or maybe an Xbox Elite controller, but why settle for just one controller when the real gamers are playing with two controllers? And that's where these Bluetooth R1 controllers will level up my gaming, or so they claim. These are little Bluetooth controllers that you put your thing inside of the hole there, and you control it with all of these specially mapped buttons. And while you can't put a price on victory, these controllers are only 10 bucks each. So if I can even get marginally better at any game, they will have proven their worth. Wait a minute. I don't think these are the right letters, but sure, we'll take the alphabet. I think I just felt the gaming power surge through my veins. It's coursing. I'm coursing. What? Let's play something simple like Hollow Knight Silksong. All right, no simultaneous controls. It doesn't really like the two controllers. You know what? Maybe the secret is actually one controllering it, pilot style. Oh, it really doesn't like multiple inputs. These are kind of shitty. Worst 20 bucks I've ever spent? Probably not. Worst controllers I've ever used? Yeah, they're pretty bad. With this shape, probably meant for something else. So here we have a mysterious black package that recently arrived as a replacement for another handheld. And you might not believe it, but I actually had 3 of these at one point. I don't anymore. Let me show you what handheld we're talking about here. That's right, folks. We have the Miyoo Mini Flip. It's a small clamshell retro handheld that kind of looks like a tiny Game Boy Advance SP. It can run pretty much everything up to PlayStation 1. You probably won't get every PS1 game, but you can even get some Nintendo DS games, and there's also native ports for this thing, like a Super Mario 64 and Cave Story. And I actually ordered this 3 times because I gave the first one to a friend, and the second one unfortunately had a screen problem, pretty much just bad quality control. And unfortunately, that is very on brand for Miyoo. Now, Miyoo is no stranger to making handhelds. They've been around for quite a few years, with some early devices like the Miyoo A30, the Miyoo Mini, and its successor, the Miyoo Mini Plus. The Miyoo Mini Flip is pretty much the Miyoo Mini, but in a tiny little clamshell. So this Mini Flip here is basically taking the torch and carrying it, guiding us through the darkness with a pretty ancient processor and no headphone jack either. Now, you can order this handheld with a micro SD card that's preloaded with games, or you can save a couple bucks and order it without a micro SD card. But with the prices of micro SD cards just completely skyrocketing to astronomical heights, it might be cheaper to just get a preloaded SD card along with your handheld. So let's take a look at what one of those might look like. Just like Powkiddy, Miyoo is throwing in Dino Crisis 2 and a bunch of other PS1 games. This is the benefit of ordering a higher capacity card, is you get more of these bigger games like the PlayStation 1 library. All right, let's check out a Stubbs classic here, some Twisted Metal. The speakers are pretty bad on this handheld, just like the V90. What the fuck? Am I in a... What the shit just happened? Oh, let's go! Now the screen is the same one from the Miyoo Mini V4, which is actually a pretty nice panel, despite having a little bit of PWM flickering. The speakers on here are pretty bad. They're very distorted, even at lower volumes. Yeah, the bass sounds like it's kind of just farting on the beat. Overall, the Miyoo Mini Flip is a pretty good handheld. It's a very compact package with good controls, a nice screen, a pretty terrible speaker, but you're probably wondering, what is the price of this little handheld? And that is 50 to 60 US dollars. This is not the most economic handheld. It is more of a novelty one and a travel handheld. If you plan on playing at home for the most part, probably skip this mini flip. If you're on the go a lot and you need something that can fit inside of your pocket, it protects the screen, and you can get some light retro gaming done, I'd say the mini flip is a great option. And now for the obligatory mouth test. The GameMT Jelly Mini 5. This thing is one of those handheld emulators that is kind of on the outskirts. You get your big dogs at the top with Anbernic, Retroid, and AYN. And then there's the second tier of Miyoo, Trim UI, and I'd even throw Powkiddy in there. And then there's GameMT. This company is known for making weird ass handhelds that are usually proportionally unique. But I picked up the Jelly Mini 5 from AliExpress over a year ago. No game plan, no idea what I was walking into. I just saw it, it looked stupid, and I wanted to see what it was actually like. Behold, the E5 in the flesh. We have some real high quality buttons and build. And of course, a shameless logo plug for Moto Tech. Subscribe below. Really taking a page out of Nintendo's book with this kickstand here. You can see it's got some nice give to it. That's structural stability. It's like a skyscraper wobbles. You want your kickstands to also wobble. And they got another page out of Nintendo's book with this Joy-Con analog stick here. No L3 clicking, unfortunately. But let's move down to the piece de resistance, this precision elevated disc D-pad. Now, while at first glance, you may be inclined to hightail it far away from this D-pad and not even want to touch it with a 10-foot pole, I also wouldn't want to touch this with a 100-foot pole. This D-pad is absolutely terrible. And then you also got these face buttons over here that are they're fine. Certainly not the worst buttons I've ever used, but this D-pad might take the crown on worst D-pad I've ever touched. Now on the back here, we have 4 very clicky shoulder buttons. And then, of course, M, T, and K for Moto Tech in the club. Up top here, we have a bunch of I/O. I wasn't expecting half of this here. We got an OTG port for on the go. That's where you can plug in controllers and maybe external drives as well. DC for power supply, 3.5mm headphone jack, a mini HDMI port, and a TF card slot with a GameMT branded card. Look at that. And of course, we got side blasting speakers because there's clearly no room on the front of the handheld. Now let's boot this thing up and see what the software experience is like, because it's only uphill from here. Now I forgot to mention, this handheld costs around 60 US dollars. You'd have to pay me $60 to actually use this handheld. It is quite torturous. I ended up getting one with a 128 gig card for $46 shipped. And I guess it's kind of like getting an SD card with a free handheld these days. But again, it is quite literally e-waste. All right, it's a new day. I've thoroughly charged up the E5, and I'm also thoroughly charged up. So yeah, there's no sleep feature on the E5, so that's a fun little quirk. I think we found the speakers. So it turns out these aren't speakers. It's actually these grills back here, because the best place for audio is away from your ears. It's extremely loud. Let's turn it up. The screen is very saturated and bright. It's also just very off-center. I think I've gotten enough crash. Oh, scratch that thing, Kirby. What? Oh! I got robbed. Oh, I figured it out. It's too easy. Caesar's Palace Advance. I'm not leaving this casino till I win. We're up. 99% of gamblers quit before they hit it big. I'm the 1%. Yes! Bet max, bet max, bet max. I could do this all day. I don't want to see it. I'm hearing it. Give it to me. Yes! Caesar, take the wheel. Come on, let me win something.
99% of gamblers quit before they hit it big. I'm the 1%. Oh! Oh! Let's go! Yes! Yes! Bet it all, baby! Give it to me! I'm on... Nope. I'm gonna cash out. I had to grind for this view. So what's the verdict on the GameMT Jelly 5? This thing is pretty miserable. There are small redeeming factors, like the screen is pretty nice looking, but the speakers are terrible. The buttons just as bad. The D-pad is probably the worst offender, and it also doesn't have a sleep feature. So while you can technically dock the handheld with an HDMI port, maybe connect a controller and play it in this little kickstand mode, I think that the cons really outweigh the pros. They get a single bonus point for shouting out Moto Tech on the back here, but overall, GameMT definitely fumbled a bit with the E5. It could have been a lot better, but it couldn't really get much worse. So we're gonna go ahead and send this to the Shadow Realm. So that's all the handhelds we have to unbox in this video. Like the video if you like the video. And while you're down there, let me know which of this e-waste slop and also good tech you found the sloppiest or techiest. And while you're down there, hit that subscribe button for more handheld reviews, tutorials, and other random shit just like this one. I'm Moto Tech. Thank you for watching. YouTube thinks you're gonna like this video, and I'll see you in the next one. Later!